Hello, everybody. This is the Out Loud podcast. My name is John.
I'm Brian, the first ever Out Loud podcast.
This is the first one, and it's the podcast where Brian tries to be funny and smart and insightful, but I know it can be tough
It's going
with
to
me.
be challenging.
Especially with me in the room.
Right, exactly.
So we have a YouTube channel, and it's kind of the reason we decided to start a podcast is because
I can't believe we actually are doing a podcast.
I
It's
know.
kind of cool.
I know. I've never actually held a mic before.
Oh, I
so
have.
This is pretty cool.
I've been in front of the camera.
So yeah, we started on YouTube, and now we felt like we have a voice there, so we're gonna spread on to the podcast world.
Yeah, why not?
Should be fun. So yeah, my name is Jonathan McKinney, and I'm actually a physician assistant student. I'm going to graduate next May. Super, super excited for that. So I love all things health, wellness, LGBTQ. Oh, I'm gay, by the way, for
Shocker.
I know, right? For first time listeners. So
And like I said, I'm Brian. I'm actually a copywriter. I've been writing in advertising probably just a little over 20 years. Love what I do. Work for all different types of companies. Work for a major retailer right now, and that's kind of fun. So that's what I do.
he's a writer.
I'm a writer.
So can you talk? Are you?
I was
gonna
going to
speak
say,
too?
let's see, but then people think, you know what the bad thing about being a writer is? It's like when that office birthday card comes around, they always expect you to like come up with the best thing.
Super high
and
expectations.
it's just like, like Joan in finance. It's like you don't even know her and you have to like put something down. It's like, hope this birthday adds up. It's like, oh God.
Wow.
Yeah.
So dad jokes and
that's
writing.
why they pay me the big bucks. So,
Okay. What is this podcast going to be about, Brian?
I'd say anything you can think of. But why don't you tell them a little more specific?
I'm super into health and wellness, obviously going into the medical field, and I've seen I've experienced a lot of discrimination or just judgment within the healthcare field for being gay. So I want to share as much knowledge as I can about health and wellness. And really, yeah, like you said, it's going to be about just anything we see. It's
Right, and I want to do some fun stuff, do things that are happening in the news, some that are gay related, some that are not, some that are just fun and human related. Go figure.
Exactly. I think that especially like now, pandemic, we kind of see that minorities have gotten really the terrible end of the stick there.
Yeah.
And so hopefully this podcast and the YouTube stuff really helps to serve that. Hey, we're out there. We support minorities, all races, sexes, genders, all that stuff. So
Whatever you do, you're doing you.
it's all about sharing some knowledge and, of course, having some fun.
Yes.
So we're going to do, let's see, we're going to hopefully have guests on in the future and interviews, and we'll see.
Guests.
I know. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Maybe some trivia, some games and all that.
We could do a couple of trivia questions. Maybe we'll have people somehow comment. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
I could do that.
Exactly. So, I mean, we've done it before on the YouTube channel, so we'll see how we can adopt that to podcast as well. So, we beg of you, please follow our podcast. It would mean the world to us.
Yes, it would. And that would be cool because then I could say to my mom, look, I'm actually doing this stuff. It's working.
I'm a famous talker now.
Right. Oh, right. I'm not just someone who writes words.
Go check out the YouTube. The YouTube is actually my name, Jonathan Lucero McKinney. Yeah, I think that's all.
Put that up on the screen right then?
I can't. It's a podcast.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, Brian. He just figured out how to text last week, too. So.
Horrible.
Oh, we didn't even mention, for first-time listeners, we're dating. This is.
Oh, yeah.
We're boyfriends.
We are boyfriends and coming up, closing in on 3 years, which is frightening.
Brian, what's unique about our relationship?
Well, the biggest thing that everyone friggin' we have a little bit of an age gap.
It's so funny for the
I'm
podcast.
I'm
you can't
10
see
years
that.
younger than him. So
No way.
that's why. That's why I have such a very young voice. I bet
It's so funny because the podcast they can't see it, so there's
no
age discrimination.
There's no ageism
That's
going
awesome.
on, which is awesome. I think I love this podcast bit even more now.
All right, so let's get it started. We're gonna talk about some news stuff. You want me to go first?
You can go. Why don't you take it?
Okay.
I'm curious to see what
Okay.
you're gonna come up
Well,
with.
as if I even needed to say that I'm gay, because my first news article comes from the Cosmopolitan.
Oh, from Cosmo, yeah.
Cosmo.
Well, yeah, it's Cosmopolitan.
So the title is "The Future of Sex." It's a really good article. It's written by Elizabeth Kiefer. And I would just want to ask the audience. So if you have bought a new sex toy or a porn subscription during the pandemic, raise your hand. Actually, you probably can't even raise your hand because your hand is probably sore from all of the fun you've been having. So basically, this article went through the future of sex and how everything has changed with our sexualities and relationships during the pandemic. And they said that 46% of people who responded to this survey for the article said that they've been experimenting more.
Wow. Because we're all stuck at home.
Yeah.
So you're either by yourself or with your partner.
Yeah, exactly. So Cosmos surveyed 2,000 people around the country with the help of the Kinsey Institute. Have you ever heard of the Kinsey Institute?
Yeah, it's a great movie too.
Oh, I've never seen
Oh,
that.
you have to see the movie.
Okay.
It's good.
I know of it from the Kinsey Scale. Do you know
Yeah,
the Kinsey?
that's what the movie's about. Yeah.
Good.
With like how that all got started.
So for the listeners, the Kinsey Scale, it was developed by I think he's a psychiatrist or psychologist. He essentially it's a scale of how gay you are.
Yeah.
It's like
Well, no,
heterosexual on the left and
right,
homosexual on the far right.
Just not so much how gay you
Right.
are, just how
It's like everyone
sexual you are.
Everyone exists on a scale of interest in same sex versus opposite sex, and that's what this institute does. Is they're like the leading human sexuality and relationship research group.
Who's the guy that does those movies like Taken, Taken 2, Taken 3?
Oh,
Big, tall guy.
oh my gosh, that's so terrible. I can't remember his name.
Liam
Neeson.
Liam Neeson.
Yeah, why?
He plays Kinsey in the movie.
Oh, now I have to see it. I love Liam. So anyway, Cosmo and Kinsey teamed up for this little survey here. And sort of summarizing this is like fundamentally, people are seeking better and bolder sex, not just more sex. I think, especially in the gay community, you kind of see there's a fair amount of
Well, there's
sleeping around.
whoa.
Isn't there? I mean, there's like hookup culture is fairly common.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can just tell by all the apps that are out there.
Yeah.
There are hookup apps, and then there are dating apps.
There's more serious one. They actually talk about that. And one of the quotes I took from the article is that this might be the end of one night stands, which I think is a little.
I don't, not in the gay community.
No, I think that's a little forward.
I really don't like that's not going to happen.
No.
And I'll say gay as in gay men because men are pigs. So that's, I think we're just base animals. Seriously, I don't like. That's why I'm like that's not gonna go away. I don't think. I think they have this primal animalistic need that they have to fill
I totally agree with you.
because our brains are the size of peas compared to women.
Yours might be. Mine is not. So half the people that they surveyed said that their relationship, if they were in a relationship, improved as a result of the pandemic, which I was kind of, well, I guess that means half didn't improve, right? So.
Well, yeah, it's better.
Or stayed the same.
But it's better than 70% failing.
Couples also became more aware at how to keep things interesting. That's kind of where like the increase in sex toys and porn subscriptions and all this stuff has sort of played into the fact.
I hope you read this article really well.
Jeez.
No.
Singles have set the bar high during the pandemic, being that they are very experienced at satisfying themselves.
Oh,
Again, saying like your arm is sore from all of the fun you've been having.
you look like Popeye.
I mean, it was a good article. What's the last thing here I have is 42% are more likely to ask their sexual partners about their physical health before consenting to sex, which I think that should be 100%. I mean, you need to be asking about, and I don't know about what they meant by physical health, because you need to be asking about HIV status, about
Yeah, I think
STIs.
that might be more
and,
physical health.
yeah.
I mean, that's what I think that means. I mean, even pre-pandemic, I think you should be doing that anyway.
Totally. Absolutely. So my thoughts, overall takeaway from this article, it was a good one. But I saw this, and I do not know from experience, but porn websites and like OnlyFans and what's the
Oh.
other one? It's the other OnlyFans, and there's another
For
one.
fans, isn't there one?
Just for fans.
Just for fans. I'm like, I know it has fans in it.
That they have seen, like there was a performer who does OnlyFans who was like interviewed saying that, oh my gosh, business has been booming since the pandemic. It's because everyone's at home and, exploring new things.
And I actually heard that a few like Broadway people, because they were like really hit by this pandemic because everything shut down. And then and I'll generalize because I'll say, maybe if they worked in the hospitality field while not working on Broadway, they weren't even doing that because all the restaurants and bars and stuff were closed. So I've heard a few of them, which a lot of them, I'll be brutally honest, I wouldn't mind seeing with a shirt off, started their OnlyFans or Just for Fans page to make some money because they weren't getting anything. So not hating them for that.
It's apparently quite lucrative.
I bet.
Very lucrative. And I think this is also a testament to people are just explorative by nature. We're going to look at different things, and that's what it kind of gets to, is that we're killing this hookup culture because we're trying to find people who fit these needs and experiment with you and have this amazing connection, so much so that next time a pandemic, God forbid, comes along, you're with your person.
Yeah.
You're not alone. You're
ready.
You're
ready to hunker down.
I'm surprised that couples improved, honestly. I feel like being cooped up and like Zoom, and if you had kids into the mix too,
oh god,
I feel like that would just be headaches.
Friends of mine, like in colleagues that I work with that have kids, I'm like, you'll be on a Zoom call and you'll see two kids running by and then another, and I'm like, oh god, how do you do it? How can you possibly do it? Like, I totally respect them for it.
Totally unrelated, but there's this new Zoom like plugin where you can like click a button and it'll make it seem to the people in the meeting that there's like a kid running or there's a dog barking in the background. Something like so you can say, okay, I got to leave the meeting.
Yeah. That, trust me, I'd like a couple of those.
All right, Brian, what do you got for me?
All right. Well, kind of sticking with our first.
Oh yeah.
Here we are. It's our first out loud podcast, so I figured I'd kind of stick with that theme of firsts, like kind of first things that happen. So we might get into some personal stuff, and I'll do some news, some gayish, some not so gay, but all fun. Just so I am going to say ask you some personal questions, and sometimes we'll answer them and sometimes we won't. So, how old were you the first time you were with a woman? A woman? Because he's gay, if you didn't know that.
Yeah. 17.
Whoa.
I was in high school, 17. I remember her parents were away, and I went over, and we did the deed, and that was it. Oh, and then...
Yeah,
we had sex.
Well, there's a difference between sex,
penetrative sex.
All right.
So is that descriptive enough?
I just got a little uncomfortable.
But no, it's funny story about that is several years later I found out that she has a girlfriend now. So.
Oh, I thought you were going to say she has a baby and he looks just like me.
Oh no.
So, funny story, but not too funny.
Surprise.
So, well, mine was when I was never.
Well, with a woman.
Yeah. With a woman, never been with a woman. Dated some in high school, kissed, but that was it. Seriously, I've never grabbed boob. I've never seen the V. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. I've seen the V because I was the birthing coach for my sister-in-law for my nephew. So that was the first time and probably be the only time that I get to see that, but that was amazing. So no, I'm not even gold status. I'm platinum status because
what's platinum?
I was born as a C-section baby. So I've never gone in and never gone out of the V. So there you go.
And obviously, this is the first time our audience is hearing this, but Brian never fails to mention this anytime he has the opportunity.
No, because when we all have straight friends. It's oh, you mean you've never like wanted to be with a woman? And then like I'll say to my straight buddies, I'm like, well, have you ever wanted to be with a man? Well, no, no. And I'm like, well, it's the same thing. It's just like
Yeah.
but I don't want to say it's kind of rare, and especially I want
Yeah.
to say with guys my age, because being gay was not an acceptable thing. I mean, I didn't really come out till I was like 22, 23 years old. So, and
To
that
be
was
clear,
back in the 30s. I figured I'd just beat you to the punch on that.
oh man, I
That's
almost.
why. So,
Well, I think so. Gold star gay, right, is not having been with a woman. So I think the thing that makes you
oh,
unique, well, not having had sex with a woman, gold star, but platinum is the C-section bit.
oh,
So that
right,
that
right,
is
right,
like,
right. Yeah,
and you
yeah,
had
you're
no
right.
control over that. So your mom you should actually just thank your mom.
Right. Well, I was the fourth, so she had already had
She was
four.
done.
She had four C-sections before me.
Oh,
They were all
all
C-section.
C-section.
Yeah. It's, my mom always says, "You almost killed me. Congratulations, Mrs. Merrill. You've given birth to a 10-pound head."
Yeah, that's true.
See? And why? Why do I continue to date him? All right. Maybe do you remember your first man-to-man kiss?
First man-to-man kiss. I do. Story time. It was after
I didn't mean it to be a story.
my freshman year of college. Yeah, freshman year of college. We all went to Ocean City, Maryland, like me and a group of friends, and it was actually like my first ever like gay experience too.
Oh.
Met up with this older gentleman at his house, and that was it right there.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, and I'm trying to remember. I think mine was, this guy's name was either Keith or Kevin. It was kind of the same thing, kind of a like in the car type kiss,
Yeah.
handy going on or
Wow.
something.
Getting descriptive here.
But I think that really was like, and it's like to this day, like for me, kissing is that's the thing for me.
Jeez, I mean, who needs OnlyFans when you have Out Loud podcast?
Sorry, I'm just saying. It's just like I just love kissing. So, first boyfriend.
First boyfriend was the boyfriend before you.
Oh,
That was
whoa.
my first boyfriend.
I wish I could say that, but that's not
And we were
true.
together for almost 5 years.
Mine was Tom, and when I say like we did not, like we worked together, we did everything to get like it only lasted like 9 months because I don't think anyone could stand being with me
That
24/7
frequently.
for 9 months straight. But like seriously, I remember not seeing anybody or anything, but it didn't faze me. I mean, I was like 22, 23 years old, so it's
Wow.
like, that's what you wanted.
Yeah.
So, so those were all fun things. So, and hopefully that'll get your brain going too, to like kind of
All the firsts.
reminisce and think about all your firsts. So let's go to firsts in the news.
Da, da, da.
So we all know kind of the new administration is bringing a lot of positive and exciting firsts to the White House.
Woohoo!
So we have I'll kind of state some of the obvious ones and then maybe go on it. So we have our first woman VP, but not only that, she's black and of Southern Asian heritage. So there's that. And her husband is the first either president or vice president spouse that's Jewish.
Oh, I did not know that.
First Jewish man in the White House. And Jill Biden, not Joe, who I absolutely love, is keeping her full-time job while she's being first lady. So she's a professor. Like
Wow.
I think, and if I'm correct, it's like at a community college.
And this is the first time that that's happening.
Yeah, that the first lady is keeping her full-time job
Wow.
and still being first lady.
Get it, girl.
Yeah, because she's amazing. Like she's amazing.
Get
so
it.
there's also kind of a fun thing. The White House is welcoming the first shelter dog.
Okay.
The Bidens have 2 dogs. One of them's a shelter dog. One of them was from a breeder. This dog is Major. The other dog they have is Champ. They're both German Shepherds.
That is such a presidential
I know,
name.
huh? Major and Champ. So why don't maybe we can hit on some of more like the gay news. So on Wednesday of this week, the U.S. Senate voted to confirm former Pennsylvania Secretary of Health Rachel Levine, MD, as the Assistant Secretary of Health at the Department of Health and Human Services. And it's like, that is awesome. And you might be saying, why is that awesome? Well, it's historic in the fact that Dr. Levine is the highest ranking openly transgender government official in American history, which is amazing. It's like, but as what's happening now in Washington, because everyone is so divided, it was a very narrow vote that she won, and it went right along party lines. She won, 52-48. Big shocker who like the supporters were.
Yeah.
But a question that I think that you and I could discuss is, Joe's put together this amazing cabinet. It's very diverse, as he said. He wants it to look like America. Minorities and women, and I saw that they appointed the first Native American secretary to the cabinet, and I can't remember
Well,
the
yeah,
woman's name.
his cabinet has got to be the most diverse in history.
Right, but like you might be thinking, oh, is he just doing it to be totally different than the last administration? Check off the boxes, right?
I'll cut you off there, Brian, because I do think that she is very qualified. I've seen some of her policies. I've met her before. She's just an awesome person. I know one thing or a couple things. She's really into combating the opioid crisis, which I think is going to continue to get worse.
Which is huge, yeah.
As stress and depression and job loss and things continue to mount from this pandemic. The opioid crisis is going to get worse. So she's really into combating that, and then also putting an emphasis on expanding telemedicine, especially mental health, which in places of rural areas, I know that here in central Pennsylvania, it can be difficult to get like a psychiatric appointment at places just because there are not enough providers for the patients.
Right. Telemental health, I think, is great.
I think that
it's a great idea.
There's definitely a line to be drawn for telemedicine as to how far you can go.
That.
But yeah, I think telemental health could certainly do some good work there.
So I did a little research on Dr. Levine just to see, but
is he checking a box, or is this actually qualified?
She is way qualified for the role outside of her identity as a transgender individual.
Okay.
She went to Harvard College and Tulane College of Medicine. She was also unanimously the choice for the PA physician general when she was in Pennsylvania. And she was also a professor at Penn State College of Medicine. So it's like, oh, okay, yeah, she's really qualified for this position, and we shouldn't have to worry about that. You just kind of think of it, and in a statement that she had, it was kind of like what the vice president said. She said, I recognize that I may be the first, but I am heartened by the knowledge that I will not be the last. And I agree. I would love just women to run the world, because the stupid old white guys that we have in Washington right now aren't doing anything for
Like
me.
you said earlier, brains the size of a pea.
Oh my God. It's just so. So this is, so that was fun. That's great. That's awesome. Congratulations, Dr. Levine. Hopefully you'll do some great things and make a great impact for the country, no matter how you identify. So this next one is more, because we're going to probably be international, I'm sure.
Of course, darling.
So this is for our UK and Ireland, but I'll tie it back to us. Amazon Prime is to release a documentary about the world's first gay and inclusive rugby club, which, if you've, you said earlier, because we kind of briefly talked about it, rugby can be pretty gay.
Yeah.
But if you've actually, and I'm sure our UK and all rugby fans are like, yeah, no, it's not. So,
well, I will say, just to comment, the first out gay professional athlete that I can just remember was a rugby player. It wasn't football or baseball or anything like that. So I don't know. Maybe not rugby is gay. Rugby is more progressive.
And we have to kind of put that one on we'll do a show on gay athletes, or something like that. Maybe we'll report live from the Gay World Series.
Oh,
summer.
yeah,
that could be fun. It's going to be called Steelers, like Pittsburgh Steelers, but the rugby club is called Steelers. And the synopsis from Amazon Prime was it's going to follow three characters on the team who are overcoming personal issues. There's a woman coach. There is a aspiring drag queen. Go figure. That's really cool.
Wow.
And then someone who basically just wants to, live his life the way he's supposed to be living it. So it follows these three characters overcoming their personal issues in their lives, and how this community has helped them overcome their struggles in ways that they never would have imagined. So it's directed by this first-time director, Australian journalist, and he actually used to play on the Steelers. His name is Eamon Ashton Atkinson. So he says, and just real quick, the story isn't just for rugby fans or even gay people. It's a story for anyone who has felt they don't belong or isn't living life the way they want to be living, which, I think, unfortunately, are a lot of people. Like,
Yeah.
I think, like, a lot of people are unhappy and they want to find ways to make themselves happy. So for me, this sounds like definitely something worth watching, but I will let our U.S. friends know once it comes to Amazon Prime here in the U.S.
What was it called again?
It's called Steelers.
Steelers, like the.
But I'm going
like
to look it up to see if it because they say that, but who knows? It might already be on.
Yeah.
Might already be on U.S. Prime.
Yeah, we'll have to check it out. No, that's good to see. And I just want to circle back to, do you think that eventually we're gonna not have firsts? Obviously, there's gonna be a point where all the positions are filled by a gay person, LGBTQ plus person, and
At some point in history.
yeah,
Well, yeah.
and so, right, we want to be filling these roles and promoting LGBTQ plus. But at what point do you think we're gonna get where it's we're not saying that they're LGBTQ plus and it's just regular?
It just is right. Well, that's what I've heard when I used to partake and be actively involved, when I used to work the bars in the gay pride parades.
Okay.
And people now are like, well, what do you need a gay pride parade for? It's like, yeah, I kind of see both sides of it because it's why not just have a parade? I like this all-inclusive parade because...
Well, it is. We encourage
allies. And I get that. And I get that. But, I see when people say, well, what do you need a pride parade for? It's we have certain rights. But certain rights have been taken away from the last administration. So hopefully they'll be reinstated. But... No, trust me, I'm a total pride parade guy.
Of course.
I love that. So I love all that stuff. But I can see where people are saying, well, why? It's
almost like they feel left out. But hey.
Come on, you do a St. Patrick's Day parade.
Well, they feel left out. But hey, we've felt left out from a lot of things in history.
Well, we still are left out on some things.
Yeah. And
some states.
That's why yearly.
That'll be another thing that we talk about. Certain states that have bad laws or have voted bad laws for gays, minorities, transgender, whatever. I think that's a whole other topic we can explore.
I know, definitely.
Okay, guys, I think we're going to wrap it up. That's our first out loud podcast, one for the books. Put it down there, hands down. Yes, it's down. So I'm going to sign off, but I'm going to say, please subscribe to our podcast so we can do more of these cool, fun things and talk to you guys. I'd love to do that.
Yeah, and if you want to watch us while we're doing this, definitely check out the YouTube channel, subscribe over there, because we're filming these podcast sessions.
And I'm sure we're going to start to get really good at this. So we'll look back at this, 10 years from now, and I'll be like,
what?
Oh my God, look at John's hair. So
I didn't even check my hair. Hopefully
I know you didn't. So
all right, guys, thanks for tuning in.
All right, thanks, guys.
Hope to see you in the next one.